Hey guys, welcome to another podcast style video with Bruce, aka Golden Eagle from Golden Eagle Cards over on
Hello.
YouTube. Check him out. Bruce, say hello.
Hello. I already said hello.
All right, very cool. So today we're going to be doing a series of these. We're going to be doing a couple of different videos with different colors, and then eventually we'll do the multicolored cards. So don't worry, we didn't forget them. But these are going to be the water cards from AL, and we're just going to be doing a little bit of a ranking tier list. And now, Bruce, have you played with a lot of these yet?
I have played 2 days of Arthurian Legends Constructed,
Yeah,
and I still have opinions for me. What do you think so far?
I think so far it's super fun, but all of my jank decks aren't working.
Yeah, that's a good point. The in the coming 3 months, it's going to be decks that were good plus Arthurian Legends. I mean, and Knights is bonkers, but
Knights are upsettingly good.
yeah,
So we played
I
with
don't
a
know.
fair number of these cards, but to be fair, we're doing this list before having played with all of them. I've never played
That
Fishwives, for example, in constructed. Sue me.
that,
But
that is a that's a good point. These are initial takes. We'll probably do one in 6 to 8 months, and then it's all going to be different.
yeah. So okay, all right. So let's just start off, kind of just like going in order here. Bruce, what do you think about Koinexi?
Uh, I think long arms is better. I think she's like C tier. I think in constructed you're still going to see violence and other things that just ping them to death. So
Yeah, I think she's neat. She's nifty. She can cause forced movement, which might be cool in your Drums of Doom Druid deck. But I think that you've got better spells to do in that. Like if you want to pull somebody into your water site and kill them, I think just like Riptide, maybe even Whirlwind if we need a mass effect for that. But I don't think Koinixi's the way to go. All right, how about
yeah,
this? Is this degradation?
yeah. Let's transform a mortal into a foot soldier token. It's
Yeah.
just anywhere on the realm.
What do you think?
B tier, maybe it's narrow, but there's going to be so many mortals, and then it's not a great removal because it's not removing the whole thing, but it's gonna like hits anything in the realm, right? But
Yeah, I think it's really a interesting card, and it's hard to evaluate before we've seen a meta, right? So we just played a couple of games,
hmm
and the Knights deck is insane, and against the Knight deck, this is great. I think that the problem is we don't have sideboards in Sorcery. This would be an incredible sideboard card, but if you're against like birds, you can basically hit their face assassin and that's it. And so this is a dead card in that deck. I also think it depends on what other color you're running. If you are running something with a lot of lands, maybe Earthquake is better, or Bury. If you're running like a mono water deck, maybe Drown is better. But if you're, I think it really depends on what other removal is available to you. In water, this is one of the better options we have right now. So I think it's B. I think that's fair.
I think if we had sideboards, it's a automatic sideboard card.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like B.
completely agree. All right, Fishwives.
It's
S
Finwife.
tier?
It's not a
Finwife?
Fishwives.
Finway. Okay, S tier? S plus?
uh, Probably. 2 mana for one water threshold for a 2/2 submerge, and provides 2 mana for each nearby enemy avatar.
Yeah.
It
Easy S.
seems uh, it puts them. It's so dangerous to get close and nearby your enemies. Like
But
probably D tier.
it combos with Polar Explorers or with Magellan's Globe. This is the Magellan's Globe deck.
It's you got to put too much work into it.
Yeah, it's garbage. You're right.
I think you can probably get away with it in limited. Like a 2/2 body is just fine. Give it a lance,
Yeah.
whatever. And if it uh, gives you an extra 2 mana for one turn, you're like way ahead. But in limited, it might be like an okay body.
After the beating you just gave me with Yellow Knight, I don't ever want to hear the word Lance again.
Lance is really good.
Yeah, apparently, Bruce. Apparently.
Yeah,
All
give
right. What?
ruffians Lance, and then we'll talk
Oh
later.
God, I hate it. All right. What do we think about the Fisherman's Family?
Good and limited.
Yeah. So we were talking about this earlier, where I said that site destruction might become kind of meta, and in which case you want to have backup ways to get your threshold so you're not totally threshold screwed. But I gotta be honest with you, I think that this isn't the way to do it. And after watching the Knight deck survive me removing 3 of their sites in the first 5 turns, and he still cast every spell he wanted to anyway, I'm not sure that that's going to be your major issue. So I don't think you're really running these.
No. Yeah,
Giant
it's maybe.
killer.
Yeah, giant killer. 3 mana for a 2/2, 1 water threshold. Genesis, kill giant, target nearby giant. This is another like meta. It's gonna have to like come down to if there's a giant deck or if these giants become a problem, it'd be a really good card. But meh.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same reason we don't see like the Monster Hunter or whatever. You just don't know that you're going to be against it.
Yep.
Yeah. What do we think about this one? Was this Grievous Insult?
Yeah. 2 mana, 1 water. Maybe cast to an ally, or maybe cast
By an
by
ally.
any ally. Silence target nearby minion this turn and tap it. Draw a spell. So you tap something,
Yeah.
and you get to attack. It's a tempo play. It replaces itself, which is nice. I'm unsure. Like I would rather spend 2 mana for cast to exile and just get rid of the thing.
I agree. It is meta dependent. It is. This would be really good in alpha beta. It can be used against birds to make their dudes no longer fly. It can be used as an aggression card so that you can actually get in for damage. And it can be used to kill their submerged minions before you cast something that's going to submerge everything. Right? You silence them, then you submerge them. That's going to be pretty good. But it's super meta dependent. It's really hard to tell how good it's going to be. But it's a 2 mana cantrip, so I don't think it could be that bad. I think I would put it at B or C. It's certainly not A or S. You're not playing it in every deck. I'm currently not running it in anything because it's fun, but it's not great. I think it's B or C.
I'm gonna go with C, just as like a cautionary. Like, if it proves it's really good, I'll be happy to move it up. But right
Yeah.
now, I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that it's meta dependent, right? It really depends on what's in the meta. Kind of like the same that Bedrock used to be, right? Before Roots, Bedrock was like, yeah, it's fine. It's an Earth site, it non-bows with your Earthquakes, but it's okay. And then after Roots, it was like S tier, you had to play it. I think this really just depends on what the meta is.
That's a fair point. You want to
Hob.
talk about helpful Hob?
I love Helpful Hob. I'm curious what you think.
I personally, so the release weekend, I opened 2 of these and was like, why in the world would I want to play a 4 mana 1/1?
Yeah.
But you made a good point of untapping your avatar and like it's a land surveyor in Earth, kind of,
Yeah.
or frontier settlers.
Frontier Settlers more.
Yeah, frontier settlers in water. And then Pathfinder is really good. I think in constructed it's really good. In limited, I think you're just wanting to play bigger bodies.
Yeah, Unlimited, it's meh. I think, what
Yeah,
do you think it is for Constructed?
E tier. There's like untapping things you can do with a lot of shenanigans with.
I think that Helpful Hob is borderline S tier, or sorry, borderline A tier, depending on your deck. I don't think, I mean, if you're saying A is good in every deck, then yeah, he's B. I think that he's better than whatever this one is, Degradation. I think
Yeah,
that, so in Pathfinder, he's insane, right? He's just beautiful ramp and allows you to do a whole lot. In non-Pathfinder decks, he allows any ally to untap, so like you can get in for extra hits. You can punch twice. You can punch 3 times with your Lancelot. Pretty decent. He allows for extra movement to get you out of like harm's way, or allows you to like it's like an extra blink essentially, except for it doesn't cantrip. I think he's decent. In any deck that's running fairies, he's very good because you get to combo him with the Splendor aura. I would agree. I guess he's B, but I think he's actually better than I had initially thought.
yeah. So if we're talking about rankings, S tier is like any deck, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is, you want to play this card.
Yeah.
A tier is good for it's a really good card, plays in most decks. B tier is like it can work. C tier is like probably not very good, and then D tier is stone unplayable.
Yeah, pretty much. All
All
right.
right.
What do we think about these bad boys? We have the
Uh,
Kingswood Poachers, stealthed 4 mana, 3 power, and Genesis. Search a spell book for up to 3 beasts, banish them, and shuffle.
I think this is another meta dependent. If there's a crazy beast deck, this will be
Yeah.
good. Another C tier.
I think it's a role player. I think it would be bottom of B maybe. The
Bottom of B.
reason being, there's not a lot of decks that are not running beasts. I think that Sylvan Splendor is a deck that people are very attracted to. Um, this is maybe it's C. It's
I think it's top of C.
it's stone unplayable when you run into the mortal deck, the Knights deck, and you
Hmm.
go, well, shit, I can't hit anything. I mean, maybe Root Spider. I'm not even sure if they're running Root Spiders, but maybe Root Spider. But otherwise, I think most of the other decks are going to be running the new Cat. They're going to be running Autumn Unicorns. They're going to be running Wyverns. They're going to be running something decent. But oh god, against that Knight deck, which I've seen firsthand, is not super easy to play against. This is a completely dead card. I guess he's a 4 mana 3 power
Yeah, with stealth.
with
So
stealth. I don't know. I agree. He's not
top of
amazing.
C.
Top of
Top
C
of
is
C.
fine. All right. How do we feel
How
about
do you
the Lake Afank? Lake Afank.
Afank? Afank? 4 mana, 2 water threshold for a 3/3 that has lethal and submerge. I think in limited, it's a great card. In constructed, it's just a body. Like it's C tier to me.
Yeah, I agree. So, I I think if we didn't have Porcupine Pufferfish, this would be at least B tier. But like a submerged lethal creature is actually pretty great.
Yeah,
Problems you're
but
gonna run into are Lance kills it, and his lethal doesn't matter, and we hate Lance. Uh, and he's more expensive than Pufferfish, so you don't really care. So yeah, meh.
meh.
How are you feeling on Led Astray? Choose
Uh,
any number of enemies at target location. They take a step together to another location that they're adjacent to.
Bottom of B tier. Like if you play with some lands like Bottomless Pit or the uh, new castle, like you can do some. You have to build around it. You can make it work, I think, but it's just because force movement it's really good. Also, with Mariner's Curse, you could do stuff with it, but I don't know. What do you think?
I thinking it's still C as well. It doesn't cantrip. If this cantripped, I'd
Ah.
say yeah, absolutely, it could be in B. But
Yeah, you
lack
would
of
probably
cantrip
you
on
just
this
play
is
Riptide, right?
yeah. You just play Riptide. Riptide cantrips, and how often are people stacking in the days where we have like, Lamian Fate blows me out, or Earthquake blows me out, or Poison
Yeah.
Nova blows me out? You're not really stacking up on one location. I will, however, say I played against a land destruction Pathfinder water deck that had Maelstrom, and it pulled me in such a painful way that you couldn't help but stack. And this would have been pretty good in that deck, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's force movement. It'll be okay, but we'll be happy to be proven wrong.
What about the Lugbog Cat?
Oh, I love this one. 3 mana, 2 water threshold for a 4/4 must be cast to any water site. A tier, like it's a better unicorn, right?
It's actually a better unicorn, right? The problem with this is that it must be cast to a water site, but it can be any water site. It's actually got upside. I think it's phenomenal. I am hesitant. I mean, like, Autumn Unicorn's just S tier, right? I think this might be too.
I think Autumn Unicorn is A tier
Autumn Unicorn
because
is A tier. You madman.
because they come down. They're not. They don't charge or anything. They don't like. They're a really good minion, but they don't win you the game outright. Like if you don't deal with it on a unicorn or a cat, like you have a couple turns to like figure something out.
You know
Where I
what?
think a lot of
You,
some cards
sir,
are like a little scarier.
after just destroying me with a stupid Purple Knight, which has 4 power with First Strike when it has the
Yeah,
Lance.
that's fair.
Fine. Fine, I'll accept this. God, I hate
Yeah,
this
I think
card.
Lance makes those other four
Yeah?
power like things S tier. Um, like Cat is still at the end of the day just a minion.
Yeah, you're right. Mesmerism. I won't hear
Spoiled
anything
card.
else.
You putting it in an S tier?
Yeah, tell me your thoughts, but I will not accept any other options.
Uh, I can probably agree with S tier. I think my only detractor here is that is a unique, so you're not going to see it very often. Um, you can't rely on it.
Yeah, you
But
can't build a deck around it, but it is fun. I have never drawn this card and been like, damn, I wish this was anything else. I've been like, yeah, okay, that works.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I think it's
Mesmerum
phenomenal.
steal a thing permanently. Like infiltrate is S tier just because you like can remove a minion for a turn and attack in and like have a minion left over. This is a better infiltrate, right?
I agree. And this doesn't tap the minion, right?
No, you just gain control of it.
Yeah, I think it's S tier. I love this card. My only experience, I mean, I played it a couple times, but my first experience with this card was I was playing my Archimaggio Mill Reanimator combo, and I think it was Zach had attacked me with like a 3 power minion and a 2 power minion, and I had Orb of Barroth Ball out, so I just mesmerismed, took both, and then he was like, "Oh God, okay, fine, I'll put the Porcupine Pufferfish." Oh no, you know what? It was his 7 power minion. I stole his giant. And then he put down a porcupine pufferfish to deal with the giant, and then something else to make sure I didn't remove the pufferfish. And I tapped my Archimaggio and moved up, and then just took both again because I cast it from my graveyard.
Yeah.
So like,
No,
I'll
if you can
take
get
4
two
of your
mesmerisms off
minions.
that,
Yeah,
yeah, that seems really good.
it's correct. I loved it.
Yeah.
All right, I am very curious to hear your Mester Storeworm opinion because I have opinions about it.
All right, so it's a 6 mana, 3 water, 7/7, which is huge, and then
Which
it
is
has
kind of insane.
submerge waterbound, and then can you read that? I can't quite read
Yeah.
that. It
It says tap, choose a direction from Mester Store Worm. Deal lethal damage to each unit at location in that area of effect. And it kind of just shoots in a, like, it's the 3 sites in front of it and then 1 side ahead of that. It's dealing 1 damage and they're lethal.
yeah, so like I'm thinking like top of B tier, the waterbound. If everybody's playing water, yeah, no, this is a great minion. But if it goes back to what Alpha and Beta was, where water is like a support color, eh. But
I think it's pretty good. I tend to think that this is actually maybe bottom of A, but you might be right. It might be bottom of or top of B. It to me, it's not a projectile, which is crazy and so helpful, which we ran into today.
mhm.
It just deals damage to minions at that site, so like the new cops doesn't help. It's a big beater. It is a great defender. It's really hard to work around. Like again, it's really hard to work around its area of effect, which is actually pretty massive, especially when you have riptides and you've got other forced movement
Yeah,
and you've got what was it? Oh, Maelstrom and Undertow. You've got ways to force movement, so you can just stack enemies up, and he could be a repeatable board wipe on a stick that can also close the game out.
yeah, and I'm also thinking like, how do you remove this efficiently? Like,
Can't
burrowing
bury
doesn't
it.
work.
Can't drown it.
Yet you kind of have to do lethal damage to it.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah,
I think he
maybe
might be
bottom of
like.
A.
I think he's bottom of A. And you know what the other like cute trick I run in my water deck with this is? Everyone's running Tri-lands right now in their back row, and that's where their avatar is. And so if you want to snowball the enemy minions up, but also your Mester Storeworm because it's so big, you basically just launch it at the enemy, deal like 2 or 3 damage with like however many minions you caught up in the snowball, and then you tap and hit them for 7.
Yeah, I think bottom of A. My only detractor is that waterbound.
Yeah,
If it gets stuck, it's a little awkward. You paid 6 mana not to have any able to attack, but yeah, no, it seems really good.
yeah. How about the Murid Fomarians? They are a 7 mana
Burrowing
double earth.
double
6.
water.
Yes, a double water, 6 power, burrowing, submerge. They're also begging to
Uh,
be lethal.
yes, like B tier. My only problem with this is it's a minion.
Yeah, it's
It's a big
expensive.
old. It's expensive minion. You can't burrow and submerge it, so it's going to be hard to remove. So like has what it has going for it, but
You just have to get
like
there.
you have to get there.
I agree. All right,
Yeah, B
Nelly.
tier.
Yeah, I think B. Maybe even bottom of B. I think these other guys have more utility because they're easy to cast. What do you think about
Yeah,
Nelly Longarms? Oh, we should probably talk about what she does. She's
3 mana,
yeah, you got it.
2 water, 2/2, submerge, tap, shoot a projectile. If it hits a unit, drag them here and submerge it. Um,
You may submerge it, so you don't have to kill
you
them.
may submerge
But
it.
yeah, what do you think?
I'm thinking top of A, almost S.
Really?
Like top of A, because that effect of ability just to kill a thing, or you can drag a worm onto a land site or something. Force movement's really good. When I first read this, I thought it was like the Koinixie where it had to be like adjacent to it, but shoots some projectiles. Like you can play
Fire
safer.
harpoons.
Yeah, I thought it was a fire harpoons on a stick, but no, this is better. I think it's
This is
A tier.
better.
You can play on your back row and force things to move. On, I don't
Okay.
know. What do you think?
How about in alpha beta? Where would you place Pudge Butcher?
S tier, because if you don't deal with it, you're dead.
S tier. Okay, because I think this is a worse Pudge Butcher for sure, because it doesn't
Hmm.
have the close the game out threat. But it's not bad. I think that it has to be built around, which is a little bit awkward. Earth and air fit so well because grapple shot and big booties. I think if you're doing more of a control with a high end minion at the end, so Moth's list I think would do fine with Nelly. I think actually Moth's list loves
Hmm.
Nelly. I think if you're not running movement, it's not amazing, but if you're able to combine it with air and you have like forced movement, I think it could be A or B. I'd put it maybe here. I haven't seen it pop off,
That's fair.
but
It has.
like you. Everyone just plays around it, but that's because it's good.
We'll go top of B. It has to prove itself. How about that?
No, I think it's good. I just think I haven't seen it pop off enough. But I
Okay.
think if you build correctly, it could definitely be an A. What about Questing Beast? Have you seen this card yet?
I played it once. It seemed fine. It's a 5/5 beater that
Yep.
moves.
Yep.
Bottom of B, A, top of B.
Yeah, I think I like it top of B. It's good. It is good. It's hard to remove immediately, and it has lethal. You know,
Where
if you
did we
give this
put this
thing
in our spoilers?
like S or something,
Oops.
it's
I think
not
we were just,
bad. It's good. You're just I don't see the deck that this. I think that the deck I tried to play against you that wouldn't load is a Earth Water Beast deck with Druid. I think it could be really powerful there. Um,
yeah.
but just
I
like
think we got
mid-range soup isn't popping off the way that I thought it would, except for the stupid night deck.
yeah. No, I think that we got really excited about this and during spoilers because Water was just getting a 5/5 beater,
Yeah, water
right?
is getting like a decent way to play mid-range soup, but mid-range soup just isn't as good anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I,
Yeah.
yeah, I think in the right deck it could be bottom of A, but I could leave it top of B right now.
Top of B. We'll see how mid-range soup Water goes.
I'm curious what you think about
Ribble.
Ribble.
I think it's top of A, middle of A. It's 3 mana for 3/3. At the start of your turn, Bogart gains a random mutation, airborne, ranged, lethal, or +3 power. Like turn 4, hit for 6. Turn 4, have an airborne 3/3. Like Water
Yeah,
seems like that.
is it better or worse than Headless Haunt?
Haunt has evasion. This doesn't have any like burrow or submerge protection.
Uh huh.
I think Haunt's better,
Okay,
but Bogart's seems really cool. Like
it's
lethal
really
out of this
cool.
is the worst, but you're still happy to trade with like a 5 mana thing.
It just makes me think that what if like in a set where it says what if there's like an artifact that says whenever you choose a random outcome, you may choose again. So you could get two of these things. Can you imagine just like a ranged lethal or anything like that? Ooh, ooh. I think there's like design space for that, like the random
Hmm.
deck. But yeah, I'm kind of loving this. I like this card. I think top of A is fine. I don't think it's S tier. I do love it.
I think it's a really good minion in Water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Salmon,
Salmon.
the Solomon of
Uh,
knowledge.
I got an opinion. What do you think?
I was like, ooh, it's cheaper than Grandmaster Wizard, and you have little dorks that can tap for it and Kythera Mechanism, and they're like, no, Kythera Mechanism doesn't work with it. And I was like,
You're gonna explain what it does?
oh no. Yeah, sure. Salmon of Knowledge is 3 mana double water threshold for a 0 power minion. It has Submerged and Waterbound, and other units at this site may fish, which is tap, roll a d20 on a 14 plus, banish Salmon of Knowledge, and draw 3 spells. So it's a cheaper but kind of not guaranteed Grandmaster Wizard. It is better than Grandmaster Wizard, I think, in. Well, maybe not better. It is a more efficient card draw engine in Grandmaster Wizard than. Okay, no. I want to take all of this back. It is a early card draw engine in Death Speaker. And the reason I like it in Death Speaker is because you have a bunch of dorks that aren't doing much because they're just getting value from Genesis. It's not as good as Grandmaster Wizard because it doesn't do this on Genesis, and it's not guaranteed. Also, it's not a spellcaster, so you can't just pass around your cores your Philosopher's Stone to it. So worse than Grandmaster Wizard in that deck, but I think that's the deck that likes it the most. What are your
I
thoughts?
think this is just bad.
Bad? Bad bad?
Yeah. I think it's bad. You have to have this card plus a minion you're not doing anything with,
Yeah.
and plus rolling something you can't control the outcome on.
And you have
Like there,
like a third
you
chance.
all right. So the best play line, if you want to make this work as soon as possible, is turn 1 or turn 2 have a thing, turn 3 play this submerged underneath the thing, tap it, and maybe not draw 3.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, maybe Druid, right? Like, Tawny might not be useful every turn.
yeah, maybe you can. It's just like, but you're spending.
More playable than these guys. Probably less playable than B. It's C.
I think it's top of C because it could, like, if you. It's
There's
a high rolly game. It's a high sorcery's high roll, right?
Yeah.
And if you high roll with this, it's really really good.
Yeah. Okay. Sealy Court.
6 mana, 2 water, 5/5. At the start of your turn, players draw a spell for each fairy in the realm.
Yeah.
I think it's like B tier.
I think it's B.
I don't like giving my opponent stuff. So when in our games when we were playing, I got 3 free cards off of this, and I think that's what really helped me. Like, just keep applying pressure, and you kept giving me resources.
Yes, this is bad at anything but control. The only way that this card is good, like Avalon, is if you don't care that your opponent has cards because you're going to stop them anyway. But if you're building a control deck where it's designed to utilize this well, I think it can be fine. I actually don't even know if it's B tier. I just want it to be B tier because I think it's fun. I think that in most decks, it's like stone unplayable, maybe C, but it's actually helping your opponent. But I might think bottom of B because I think that there's my Archimagio Reanimator deck is not amazing, but it plays.
There's
okay.
something there.
There's something there. This doesn't hurt me in that something there, and I think if I play more control, this will be even better. Because if you're casting a Lancelot every turn, that's bad. But if I can get rid of it with a cheap spell every turn, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like if I'm able to double spell while you're single spelling, then I don't care that you're doing that every turn. I just have to have enough control pieces for it to work.
Yeah.
Or make you discard your whole hand. Which is the goal.
Yeah. No, I don't like giving my opponent stuff. Shameless Squire. What do you think?
I hate Squires and Lances and things because they just beat me. But I think it's actually decent.
3 mana for a 1/1 with Lance, so it's a 2/1 first strike. Genesis, tap target nearby enemy. It drops everything it's carrying. I think this is going to be a good answer to the Knights deck.
I agree. It's going to be. It's also helpful that you can like just steal a bunch of their artifacts.
Yeah.
Like you saw me build my sweet Sly Fox deck, and you could just make me lose my. Is it enemy minion?
No, it's target. It doesn't hit Sly Fox.
No, I know, but I didn't draw the Sly Fox, and I ended up having to put it on my Talus.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just steal all my stuff.
That makes sense. Like top of B tier. It's still a small little minion, but it could be a good utility piece.
Yeah, it's utility based. If you played this in a random deck against my Beast deck, I'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Shapeshift.
I'll let you talk about this one.
No, I want to hear what you say. Because
I think it's bad.
Sad.
I think it's C tier. It's 4 mana, 2 water threshold. You want to read that one off?
Yeah. Shapeshift is 4 mana, 2 water threshold. It's an elite magic, and it's an allied minion tries to transform. Look at your next 5 spells. You may choose a minion from among them to be the new form. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Essentially, it banishes your minion, puts the new minion in from the top 5 of your spells, and if you fail to hit a minion in the top 5, nothing happens. 4 mana, nothing. Do nothing.
That's why I think it's like C tier, is because it has a possibility of whiffing.
I thought that this was going to be so powerful, and I built decks around it, and it is fine. It is a combo card, and we don't have a way to manipulate the top of our library yet. I think when you get something that says like a brainstorm, draw two, put one on top of your library. Draw three, put one on top of your library. Put target minion from your graveyard on top of your library. I think this automatically shoots up because then you're like, cool, great old one, hit you for 16.
Yeah, so if you have some way to control the randomness of shapeshift, I think it's better, but we don't have that.
I don't think it's bad in, I would say maybe top of C. I think that there is a way to make this deck good, and that's having a really solid mid-range, like minion-heavy deck, right? Because
Yeah.
if you have, I keep coming back to Druid because it's free, right? If you have Tawny, which is free, then banishing that minion on turn 4 and getting anything, even if you get just like a cat, right? Oh, cool, my Tawny became a 4/4 and it's got pseudo charge.
Would you
This
rather just play a
Genesis.
cat?
Would I rather just play a cat? That's what I was thinking. It's not necessarily good, but it's the pseudo charge that makes it decent.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and actually, are there bad Genesis besides Slumbering Giantess? Because if there's a bad Genesis out there, this is like a
Yeah, that's a good way to get around Genesis,
Stifle
bad
Knot deck.
Genesis.
Yeah, you just say like, okay, whatever, no Genesis. It just becomes that minion, and it's like a Stifle Knot. Do you know that deck in Magic?
I, I get what you're saying, but no.
Yeah, it's just basically you take something that has a really bad Genesis that makes you do something you don't want to do, and you work around it. And I think that that's what this could become, but I don't know that we're ready for that yet. Like, I don't know that we have that.
In 2 or 3 sets, when there's a bunch of like awkward Genesis abilities, shapeshift gets better.
I gotta say though, I really think that if you have a decent mid-range water deck, Shapeshift can actually be very good in Druid. I haven't built it yet, but I think that it could be an A tier in specifically one deck, and then in the rest of the deck, I probably wouldn't run it in most decks.
Yeah. We'll talk about Druid, but getting a free minion off of lands is is really good.
It's really good.
Shellycoat, 2 mana, 2/2 for submerge, takes 1 less damage. What do you
We're
think?
Shield Maidens.
I think in limited this is like an A tier minion, but in constructed like bottom C, D.
I think it's unplayable. It's just a worse version of Shield Maidens.
Yeah, agreed.
Cyfox.
Probably A tier, B tier. I think there's going to be a cool like Slyfox deck, but
I already made a cool Slyfox deck. Thank you.
yeah. So what do you think overall, Slyfox?
Oh god, I think Slyfox is pretty decent. It's hard to deal with them. They can't be targeted. You can't hit them with a projectile. And as we've said in this set, Earthquake and like Bury effects are less good. So he's a minion that's hard to deal with. I don't know how good artifacts and equipment are right now, because when you do deal with Slyfox, then you just leave all that stuff behind and they get used against you. I don't even know that he is A tier, but I think he has the potential to be. I think if you can build a deck correctly, which I haven't figured out quite yet, I think that he's actually pretty decent. Maybe not A, maybe he's in B tier, and he's just like a pretty good role player. Because like even if you build a deck all around him, he's a 4 of in a deck of 50.
Yeah.
But he's super cool and interesting and worth being played around. Snowball.
I don't like it.
Really?
Maybe it's good. All right. So 5 mana, two water threshold. Shoot a projectile. Roll everything up into a ball. Push everything to wherever it stops. Deals damage equal to the number of minions there.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just like 5 mana for maybe not killing something.
Yeah, in limited, I think it's cracked. In constructed, I think it's a C. The problem is it's not in air. Avatar of Air uses Rolling Boulder so well because of how much mobility you have. If you are in Avatar of Air, you're probably not going to run this, and I think that's the deck that would like it the most. Maybe if Avatar of Air goes Air Water, I think it'll go Air Fire. But if it goes Air Water, maybe this is pretty playable. You can use it offensively. Like I said, like you can use your Mesher Store Worm, chuck a snowball, take out their, land surveyors on the way, hit them for 3, and then smack them for 7, right? Like that's pretty effective. But that's semi-magical Christmas land. Yeah. I think it's like in the C range. I think it's playable. Also, it's pretty decent in Druid because every site that you force them through that's nearby your Druid, you're dealing an additional damage to each of those minions. And Tawny is a flying spellcaster. Okay, Druid makes everything better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in Druid maybe it's bottom of B, and everywhere else it's like C.
Yeah, I agree with that. C tier.
What do you
Sugar
think
Plum
about these
Pixies, the
guys?
spoiled card.
What do you think?
2 mana. It dies to just general nonsense and constructed. C tier. There's
Yeah, it's a 2 mana water flyer with 2 power. Airborne at the end of your turn, untap a nearby ally. If it's at the end of your turn, so it's not like you can use shenanigans, hit twice, or tap and draw land or
yeah.
anything. 2 mana flyers are fine. It helps you get a blocker, which isn't bad. And it is nearby, right? It's not bad. It's a tempo deck, though. I think it's in tempo. It could be okay there. I still think it's C tier. I think it's probably maybe worse than Salmon, better than Alfenk.
I would agree with that. It's an airborne flyer is always going to be good.
What do you think about Swindler Troop?
3 mana for a 3/3 2 water threshold. Genesis other ally. Give another allied minion stealth. It's a 3/3 that gives something stealth. B tier. Like it's a decent minion in water. Stealth can be really annoying to deal with it. Like if you stealth a cat or something.
I think it's C.
C
So
tier.
I think that this is a great card in limited. I think that it's
Yes.
a totally playable. Like if you saw this in someone's deck, you'd be like, "Oh, that's a pretty good effect." But like you have sites that give stealth now. You've got things that give mass. I mean, it's mostly in air. This is a bad air card in water. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like Fade is cheaper, draws you a card. This leaves you a body. I think that this is just if this were in air, we'd say it's stone unplayable. Because it's in water, it's maybe serviceable. But I don't think that I'm like rushing to put this in any decks. It's just kind of it's okay.
All right. Yeah, I think I was swayed by limited. I think in limited it's going to be a great card.
It's
But
great and
yeah.
limited.
Sylvan Splendor, 4 mana for an aura. Whenever you cast a beast or fairy to an affected site, draw a spell. Dispel if affected sites are successfully attacked.
Interestingly, that second sentence is there, and I forgot to read it.
Yeah. I think A tier.
You think A?
I think A. Maybe top of B. Drawing. If this goes unanswered, like you can draw 2 or 3 cards. You're really happy. You have to play around it, play a little more defensively. What do you think? I think it's just card draw is really good, so that's what's pushing it up for me.
I think it's an S.
You think it's S tier?
Yeah, dude, it's 4 mana. If you can draw 2 cards, you've already gotten your value. Like we pay 6 mana for a 0-bodied
Yeah,
minion
no,
for 3 cards.
that's totally fair.
Especially if you're playing like a mid-range deck or like a tempo deck that runs a couple of the 2 mana fairies, holy crap! Can you like I played this and I got helpful hob, play a land, untap my dude, play a land, draw a card. That's pretty good. It's pretty good helpful hob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
I think
totally fair.
I think it's S tier. I mean, I could maybe hear A, but I think it's S tier because it's drawing cards, and you don't have you don't play it when you can't defend it, and when you do play it, you just have to expect to get 2 cards. And if you can get 2 cards, you've gotten your mana's worth. 3 cards, you've cheated mana. 4 cards, and holy crap,
Yep.
I think it's good. The Great
All right,
Drowning of Men.
7 mana, 4 water threshold. At the start of your turn, destroy affected sites and flood the resulting rubble, then submerge everything atop them, dispel the great drowning of men.
Yeah,
Land destruction. What? Ooh, A tier.
A tier? Yeah. I think it depends on the deck you're in. I played against a deck that was built perfectly for this card, and holy shit, it felt like an S tier card. They destroyed 11 of my sites in one game and kept me off of 2 of my thresholds. The whole game. So I lost with 5 air cards in hand with 0 air threshold. Yeah, you build a tempo deck with this and you win. But you have to do it I don't know. I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but the one and only Zagatech might have a Pathfinder deck that utilizes land destruction to almost unfair effect. And I
I
think in
think
that deck it's cracked.
this and the other fire one, if you mix this out on turn 4,
Yeah,
yeah, it's you just
you're
like
usually hitting 3, right? Because everyone forms an L.
yeah, at least 3, some maybe 4.
Yeah,
Jeez.
take out their core or something because they have nowhere to go anyway. So
And
you're just
then
emerging everything.
punch the one site that's left. Like, yeah, no, this is
No, it's too
ridiculous.
good. Yeah, it's really good. Green Knight,
I don't know. You want to talk about this one?
I think it's good. But yeah, let's talk about the Green Knight, which is 6 mana, triple water threshold for a 3/7. Whenever an enemy minion can attack the Green Knight, it must. Deathrite, strike target nearby enemy minion. It takes out an entire archetype. Birds? How does birds deal with this? Right? Everything has airborne. So everything can attack it, and nothing has 4 power except for Witherwing Hero. So if you don't have your unique to deal with this one, then you're having to waste literally 3 minions on this.
Yeah, and birds can't afford that.
Uh huh. This solos birds. It's solos. You played like charge dot deck. All of those things are 3 power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's A tier.
I think it's
I think
S.
it's top of. I think it's top of. I think that keeping it out of S for me is it's still only a 3 power minion. Like you don't have the pressure.
Yeah, but I don't think
If you
you're
like,
playing it in decks where you're trying to pressure. Because
uh,
it is so to me this is
also
like
you have to
a
remember
huge blocker.
I am Timmy.deck. I want to punch things. This doesn't punch things.
Yeah, but how does it not frustrate you into thinking it's an S? So I guess my point is I'm not playing this in my like aggro list, right? I'm playing this in the
Yeah,
deck that that runs 12 minions, and this is the best, one of the best ones. I'm down to put it at A or S. We could put it top A. I think that you might be right, but it if you can mix it out, all of a sudden you're unattackable. If you
yeah.
can shapeshift,
I'll put it. I'll agree with bottom of S. Yeah, it's going to be really annoying to deal with.
it's going to be so annoying to deal with. The problem is, you know what? It has no evasion. I'm fine with that. It's so
Yeah.
annoying to
Okay.
deal with minions. Those decks that are running aggro minions don't have a lot of ways to deal with things. But I guess if I'm running a control list and I'm running like 15 minions total, then you finally have a target for your removal. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's possible that this just dies because you're not running enough minions to eat their other removal. But God, I think it's good. The
Yeah.
Lady of the Lake, 3 mana, 3 water for a 3 power. She is a spellcaster with Submerged. In Genesis, you may summon a mortal or artifact from your cemetery to the Lady of the Lake's location. If you do so, shuffle her into the owner's spellbook. So it's a 3 mana, 3 power mortal reanimator or artifact reanimator.
Top of A, S tier. I'm
A
like
or
you can get in.
S? I am shocked. I didn't think you were going to be high on this card at all. Okay, you like it.
I I think it's okay. No, no. I think it's really good in like it's a 3/3 with a crazy threshold cost that has some evasion and it's a spellcaster. Like it's a spellcaster, which is really good. It can't be drowned. And if you can get back like a crazy knight or just a big old beater, like you reanimate your island Leviathan, no, not island,
Master Storeworm?
it's Kraken, and
Oh,
Swarm,
Golden Swarm.
Kraken, some
Yeah.
big thing they've already dealt with. Um, I think it's really good. Like I like this much more than like a rescue or just kind of like grab a thing from the graveyard because it goes to the battlefield.
I'm so curious. Okay, cool. No, I'm down. I think it's great in mono water decks that go big.
Yep.
So big water I think
Yeah.
is perfect in. The slot that I like it the most in currently, it also is in my reanimator deck because it can pull back the Orb of Bareth Ball, or your Immortal
Mm-hmm.
Throne, or your Pendulum of Peril, or your like whatever you can because it goes away, right? So it's a it is a
It it
repeatable.
is a yeah. It's the second whatever big thing that they've already dealt with in the game.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, so I quite like it for combo and like artifact synergies, especially if you're milling. I think that this card is going to only get better as the game grows. Currently, again, it's really early. We haven't seen how strong everything is, but like getting your Immortal Throne out doesn't suck. Out of the graveyard, I mean. So I like it.
A or
Also,
S tier, you think?
it's a spellcaster with Immortal Throne, and Immortal Throne usually just loses when you submerge it. But this is a submerged water threshold. Sorry, submerged water spellcaster. If you submerge her, cast the Immortal Throne, then do her again, don't grab anything, you can actually win the game where no avatar can get there. Oh wait, no, is it an avatar alone wins with the Immortal Throne? It's not a spellcaster.
I think it's Avatar.
Ugh. All right, well, I'm bad at this game.
An Avatar alone here wins the game.
All right, it's bad.
A tier? S
Yeah,
tier?
I think it's A.
What do you think?
I don't think it's S.
Okay.
I think it's A.
All right, the last but not least, the Thieving Magpie, a 1/1 airborne with 1 water threshold. May pick up carried artifacts with cost 1 or less.
But it steals it, right? It doesn't just pick it
Yeah.
up. It's like takes it away. Yeah, so may pick up carried artifacts. You can steal P stones, mixes, all this stuff. What do you think?
I think it's cute. Bottom of B tier. I think it's going to be really annoying for people who get stuff stolen, but it asks for your opponent to play a certain way to like play artifacts. Sometimes I think most of the time this is going to be a 1/1 airborne thing, and then you have to play movement to really like get it there because they're just going to tap and move away from you, right?
Yep.
Maybe even C tier.
I don't think it's in B, but I'm down to be convinced. I think that everything that has airborne can easily kill this. I think that a lot of people don't even have their 1-drop artifacts. I think that the best case scenario is that you get this out, you snag their Ring of Morrigan, and then you run away. I think the Ring of Morrigan on this, okay, yeah, that's phenomenal. I think anything else you steal doesn't matter that much.
C tier or D tier? You think?
I think C. I don't know. There's some cute
I think-
thing you can make it work, but I don't like it.
I think it's cute, but I think I would rather just kill the artifact I'm trying to steal with a disenchant.
Completely agree.
I think it's D tier.
Also, we haven't talked about it, but just hot take. Just a Rock. Has it broken the meta?
It's fine. We've talked about it. It's
I
fine.
know. I haven't even seen a single person play it. Like, I've seen a bunch of lists. Not one person is running Just a Rock.
Yeah.
Absolutely upset.
There's the list. We'll be doing more of these on both of our channels. We'll try not to forget the artifacts this time, but
We'll try to get there. Thank you very much, Bruce.
Yeah.
This was a blast.
it was a great time. I can't wait to do more.
Yeah, I can't wait to lose to your 3-mana 3/2 with Lance. Just pummeling me. This is, I think so far, the Timmies are winning the AL Brews.
Just punch people, man. Just punch them.
It's working too well. What have they done to my beautiful game? All right, man. I'll catch you soon.
All right, bye.